This is the Lifestream Podcast, episode number 8 for September 23rd, 2015. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lifestream Podcast. I am Mike Ficklin, also known as Vader SW1 on the forums, and joining me on this mythic quest into all things Final Fantasy are Carlie.
Hello.
And Lex.
Yo, yo, yo.
And basically what this show will be about is for an hour or so every few weeks we will discuss all things Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy related. We'll hit upon recent news and notes and delve into a different topic of discussion each episode. If you have a recommendation for something we should discuss, feel free to hit us up at lifestreampod@gmail.com or comment on the episode posts on the forums each week. How's it going, guys?
Going good?
Very good, very good.
Excellent.
I haven't been doing much gaming recently, actually.
Yeah, me neither.
I feel bad.
I have done gaming, but nothing Final Fantasy.
Did you get your computer fixed finally?
Yes, but since I'm sure at some point you're gonna ask how the community playthrough, at least my part on it, I haven't gotten back to it. You can ask Lex how it ended, since they ended it.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and hit that subject up here real quick, Lex. How did that go? How did the community playthrough on Final Fantasy VII end up?
Yeah, we finished it up. Lots of people completed the playthrough from start to finish, which is nice.
And
Noticed
you're
about
directing that at me because I'm not close.
Same kind of participation levels as we've had in the past. It starts out with a big whole bunch of people going, hooray, let's do this, and like 4 or 5 people actually do all the chapters. So it's fine. But some people are still working their way through and they're updating in the thread as they go, so that's cool. But the community playthrough is officially closed.
Did you finish?
I did
Excellent.
my last chapter a couple of weeks ago. I streamed it on Twitch.
What was your final playtime? Do you know?
Oh no, I never look at that. It was somewhere in the region of 30-something hours.
Wow.
Because it was semi-completionist, but I didn't really bother with, the weapons and stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah, and just on a quick side note too, as far as the retrospective series is concerned, Ryu, Jason, and I have all finished up our Final Fantasy I playthroughs. We were planning on trying to record the first episode in the retrospective series this week. I'm not sure if we're going to get to it, but it should definitely be by next week, so that's exciting.
I look forward to watching that.
I'm so excited. I figured out that you don't have to have specific permissions from Square to use some of the soundtrack music and stuff, so as long as we give them credit for it. So I'm super excited about that. There will be a lot of Final Fantasy music in this retrospective series.
Excellent.
Yeah. So yeah, this show, because there was a lot of news that came out of Tokyo Game Show, that's actually going to be the gist of the show today. We're going to do a bit of news roundup on Tokyo Game Show, and if we have some time, we will tackle some listener feedback. And it looks like we have a very special appearance from Ryushikaze.
Hooray!
It's not that special.
Welcome, Ryu, welcome.
Hello.
Did
Stupid.
he say your name right again?
Yes.
I called him Ryu for years before I was spoke to him in person. He was like, it's Ryu, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's Japanese, of course it is.
So opening up again on the news and notes. First big news item that I saw, and I guess it's really not a major issue, but I did see that Nobuo Uematsu mentioned that he is not going to be involved in the Final Fantasy VII Remake. I know a lot of people kind of got upset about that. I'm not upset about this. I'm not plussed by
I don't care.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm with you.
For me, I mean, Nobuo's remark was basically that his work was already done with Final Fantasy VII, and I
Yeah.
agree. I mean, he's
All
already
of
done.
his work is literally already there.
Yeah,
Yes.
I
So
mean,
why are people going crazy about this? Like,
I,
my God.
Maybe they think they can't use his music if he's not there.
or
Well,
Possibly.
I mean, it's very clearly owned, like, not by him though.
Yeah.
well,
So,
I wonder how much of it is people feel like Square is holding him out.
I mean, at the end of the day, music's a tricky thing because you've got all sorts of licensing shit to deal with, and I'm sure as an artist, it's not nice to go, okay, I wrote this beautiful piece of music and I poured my heart and soul into it and it doesn't belong to me, which is, I'm sure, in part why he left the company and founded his own label for music. But I don't think he's being held out at all. I don't think he feels. Well, how do we know how he feels? But I don't think that's how he would feel. I'm pretty sure he knew the deal when he'd already scored however many Final Fantasy games before that.
Right.
Not to mention the other titles. So I'm sure he was fully prepared to deal with the consequences of scoring 7, 8, 9, half of 10. And he knows that it's going to be dealt with. And I just wonder what his reaction was to the Crisis Core remixes, because some of those were great.
Yeah, I would certainly love the opportunity to speak to him about that. You know, I don't know. He was never really. He's not really an arrangement guy anyway. And my understanding is that his involvement with like Distant Worlds, he's not really doing the arrangements.
No, he just composes.
Right.
Yes, Arnie Roth.
Right. So my impression anyway of this would be if Square is going to stay true to Nobuo's music, he wouldn't have been involved with doing like a full orchestral arrangement anyway. So. So I don't know. I don't think it's anything for people to get all up in arms about. It's like Nobuo said, his work's already done with this. So
if he hadn't said anything about it, because he's still going to be credited, like it will 100% be credited because they're still using his themes. If they use a part of the Chocobo theme in a game, they have to credit him for it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, correct.
So he's still going to be credited. So nobody, I don't know. Well, it remains to be seen. It's a long way off the soundtrack anyway. So I just hope they arrange it well, and don't screw with it too much.
Yeah,
It's all going to be in penny whistle and
Yeah.
quarter.
See for me, he already did Final Fantasy VII. This is like a reimagining of Final Fantasy VII. I'm fine with bringing new people. He's not the only like good person that can do that, and as long as they did a good job, like Lex said, it's fine if they bring someone else to do it.
Yeah,
He's not the only person who's made good music for Square.
Exactly.
Like if you've ever played the Chrono games,
yes.
he did a little bit of the music for those, but it was mostly other people, and he was not in the Chrono Cross. And not the only good thing about Chrono Cross, but the best thing about Chrono Cross is the music.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And that is not damning with faint praise, mind you. Chrono Cross music is good, even when the rest of that game sometimes just makes you go, okay? Why? Alright, I'm gonna get.
Yeah, I've heard people saying that they would like to see, and I'm sorry, I can't recall the gentleman's name that composed the music for Before Crisis. I've heard people say that, or not Before Crisis. I'm sorry, Crisis Core. I've heard people say that they wanted the guy that did the Crisis Core soundtrack to do this. Yes.
Pretty sure it's Ishimoto because he did a lot of the 7 remixes, especially Fulfilled Desire.
I think Mitsuda would also be good to see come on. He's the guy who did Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the thing about Ishimoto is we've got the track record with Crisis Core, but a lot of people, there's a lot of naysayers about him as well because of some of the stuff he did with the battle remix and stuff. I'm not dying for Ishimoto to do it. I don't particularly care as long as they can arrange 7 themes and all the tracks kind of maintain their diversity. So One Winged Angel it's grand orchestral doom, and the Genova theme, the repeating Genova theme is still present in some form, but also sounds like Eurotechno. I've never heard a good version of the Genova theme that isn't the original, and I'm worried that the original version is just too classic, using the PlayStation sound fonts for it to be remixed properly, because orchestral remixes or even rock remixes of that song do not sound right to me, because they're not computerized enough, they're not synthetic enough sounding. I just want the soundtrack to be really diverse. I wouldn't mind if they brought on like loads of different composers to just kind of give it that.
Yeah, I mean, how awesome would it be if they were to bring in Trent Reznor to come in and do the Genova theme that you're referring to.
Who is that?
He is the singer/creator for Nine Inch Nails.
Oh shit, yeah. Oh no, that would be awesome. Oh yeah, that's an awesome idea. Another one is maybe Sam Hulick, who did some of the Mass Effect soundtrack, or
yeah.
Yoko Kanno, I think, could do a lot with the Midgar sounds. He does very good for Cyberpunk.
Yes.
Evocation.
The Deus Ex composer, whose name I've forgotten. When I'm thinking specifically about the Genova theme, I do think Cyberpunk and the Deus Ex Human Revolution soundtrack is one of the best for that. So there's so many different people that can do it. I mean, they're going to use Japanese composers, they'll probably use in-house composers, and I'm okay with that as long as they can give it the proper treatment that we all know it deserves.
Agreed. And as long as they show
all right,
respect.
15 buckets in an alleyway. Got it.
With a keyboard and a tambourine.
Well, what do you think they're throwing the buckets at? I mean, come on.
I mean, as long as they show respect to Nobuo's original compositions, I'm sure I will be fine with it. So, moving on from that here, getting into our first news from Tokyo Game Show, and I will preface our conversations about Tokyo Game Show by mentioning that the show notes will include links to all of the trailers that we will be talking about this evening. So if you have not seen these trailers, you will have your chance here when we get the show posted up. Starting out here, we were shown a trailer for something that they're calling Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue. It is
also known as Stall for Time!
Exactly. It is apparently to be released in 2016 for PlayStation 4. This will include Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance HD. It will also include Kingdom Hearts 0.2 Birth by Sleep, a fragmentary passage. Apparently this is going to be a new playable episode that takes place immediately after Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, using the new Kingdom Hearts 3 engine. It will be told from Aqua's perspective, and they are saying it should be the length of one world in the Kingdom Hearts series.
Essentially what they're saying is... So we've got everything working, but we've got writer's block.
See, when I first heard about it, I just rolled my eyes because it looked like more of Square Enix trying to cash grab out of Kingdom Hearts. But to be honest, I really want to play as Aqua again and play that because Aqua was great. I love Aqua.
Also,
her whole section in that was my favorite, especially the final chapter. So I'm dying to play that.
Yes, no. He was the proper hero of Birth by Sleep. And to be fair to Square Enix, it's also a cash grab by Disney.
Yes, totally.
I mean, it seems to me like this is the only game that they haven't HDified on a PlayStation system, correct. So for them to kind of round up feels right. And I'm okay with it. I'm not going to play it because I don't care. But
no, they haven't.
I'm glad for the fans that want it all in the one.
Yet, I don't think.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Let's hope it stays that way.
Are you sure? What's that?
They already recoded is the remake already, but let me just double check.
What?
I could have.
I'm so confused.
I could have sworn that was on 1.5 or 2.5. I
Right,
could be
it's
wrong.
it's just they didn't actually put in a game. I think it was just the
Okay,
cutscenes.
you're
but
probably
I mean,
right.
the story's there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
See,
it's
there-
Honestly, what I'm saying is we should be glad is because Recoded is like Chain of Memories, where the battle system is just weird as hell because they keep changing the rules up on you. The story's dumb, but that's nothing new. I love Kingdom Hearts, but I also know full well that the story is really dumb. And
as I've said before, I'll say it again. Game Trailers brought out that really in-depth, half-hour-long timeline video. I've watched it about 6 times. I still don't get the story. Don't get it.
if you
so
can't
I'm going to
tell,
sum
like,
it up for you.
And I'm a fucking scientist, and I've tried to get it, and I don't get it.
if you can't tell,
It-
he's
it-
not a huge fan of Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
Yeah, but I can sum it up for you. It's Final Fantasy III with Disney stickers added on.
You lost me at Final Fantasy III.
Oh god.
Um,
And the reason that it's taking so long to come out with Part 3 is because there's no more Final Fantasy III story for Nomura to crib on.
Lol.
See, Birth by Sleep is like the one game that I really want to play again because I don't have a PSP anymore. I want to play it on my PS Vita or on my PS4. I think that would be amazing. That's the only game outside of the main two, like Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, that was actually great.
So go buy
Carlie,
2.5.
Carlie. PPSSPP.
Or 2.5, yes.
yes.
I will. I just don't have the money right now.
Okay.
Then I reiterate, PPSSPP. Look it up.
She can't even run like the easiest PlayStation emulator in the world. Do not tell her to run that because that gave me a headache.
Really?
I love
I thought
No,
love
it
how
didn't. It
much-
was easy, but she won't find it easy.
I love how much faith you have in me.
I have zero
Listen.
faith in. I had to take control of your computer using remote desktop. You live in
that
Puerto
is
Rico.
That is correct. I'm not embarrassed.
assuming direct control.
Seriously.
To be fair, he's kind of a control freak, so he gets really desperate when I don't get what he's trying to tell me, so he just took control.
Carlie, when I spent 4 hours trying to explain it to you, there's only one recourse, okay?
I hope that there's a stream of that somewhere because just that would be hilarious.
I legit think she did actually record it. So
Post it on YouTube, Carlie.
I did not record it one. It was not 4 hours, you're exaggerating. It was like 2 hours.
it was 4 hours of explaining on Skype, and you going, Lex, I don't understand. Get on the call, and then we're on the call, and you're like, but it's not working. And I'm like, did you click this and then click this? And you're like, yes. And I'm like, oh fuck this, download remote desktop. So yeah.
I don't do emulators. It ended up being a different problem. It's just that was when my computer stopped working and I had to buy new parts, so it was irrelevant if I didn't get it or not.
That is true.
I do know how to work it now. I've been playing the game without his help using the emulator, so eventually I did get it. Just I don't do emulators. I've never done that before, and he's not. He's always like, "How did you not get this?"
I've been
I
using
love that
emulators
about him.
since I was like, I don't know, since
Knee-high
the
to a
first
frog's eye.
since the first SNES came out when I was like 12, and I was like, oh my god, I can play every Super Nintendo game ever made. Like,
I still
Oh.
feel like Z-SNES is the best emulator ever.
I'm a
It
SNES
probably
9X buff
is
now.
one of them. Yeah.
Because it wouldn't run Chrono Trigger. I remember the very early version that I had, and SNES 9X would, and I was like, okay, I'm going to use this.
There's actually a third one that I think has replaced the both of them for the task scene, who require absolute perfection, but I don't remember what the name of it.
Well, pulling this back on the rails here real quick.
What? No! Okay, go
What?
ahead.
We're off the rails? That never happens.
Usually we're doing multi-track drifting, and
Right?
anybody gets that reference, I mean, come on.
The last part of the Kingdom Hearts 2.8 package it will be something they're calling Kingdom Hearts Key Back Cover. This will be the story of the foretellers during the events of Kingdom Hearts Key, and it will be rendered using the Kingdom Hearts 3 engine. And since we really don't know anything about Kingdom Hearts Key at this point,
It's the Warriors of Darkness fighting back the Cloud of Light.
Ugh.
I'm gonna keep going with these goddamn Final Fantasy III references.
Good lord.
Lex is judging you.
I'm judging the story. I'm just judging it.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the Kingdom Hearts story is incredibly convoluted. It really is.
It's the problem is that every single time they made a new game, they started like reconning and adding stuff that clearly that wasn't there before. Even though they claimed that like this is what our plan was from the start, and they're just making it up as they go.
Well, that was their plan from the beginning. It was to make things up as they went.
When Square Enix starts to mess with time, there is a problem, because they have done that once before, or well, they've done it a few times before, but if we think about Final Fantasy VIII, which is the first time I think they've done it successfully, and that was a fucking shit show. So,
well, it depends on what you mean by mess with time.
Oh, they did it in
Oh,
Final
no,
Fantasy
no,
I.
it's not.
No, I mean, because Chrono Trigger was an unjustified, complete success.
Yes.
And that's all about fucking with time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you mean
Technically,
fucking
loops.
around, with time loops, that's another matter.
I was gonna say Final Fantasy I was a time loop thing as well.
Yeah, but that was only at the very end, and it was very simplistic, and you were specifically stopping the damn thing. In Final Fantasy VIII, it is a vital part of your plan.
Good call.
Except you don't know that.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
And literally, your actions cause the regressive time loop. Because if you hadn't gone into the future to kill Ultimisia, she wouldn't have gone back in the future to give her powers to Adea, so that Adea could give her powers to Ultimisia sometime in the future.
Mm-hmm. But the moral of the story here is fuck Kingdom Hearts.
Squall. Actually, let me rephrase that. I think the moral of the story is Squall needed to get laid.
Probably.
And everybody but Squall realized it.
I'm rolling my eyes.
Next piece of news that came out of Tokyo Game Show: Final Fantasy Agito has been canceled. Apparently,
Woo!
and-
Nobody cares.
right?
Sorry.
And in its place, they have announced that there will be a Final Fantasy Type 0 online for mobile devices.
Listen, in its place will be Final Fantasy Type 0 online, begin boner. For mobile devices, end boner. Type 0 is a great game. The online features that were in the Vita were pretty cool. I got a chance to play those in the fan translation patch thing. They were removed in the console release, so that is almost exciting news. But it's on mobile, so it's not exciting news at all.
No, and it just irritates me. Why not release it to Vita, which is a sorely underused platform?
Agree. Because it won't sell.
That's unfortunate.
I don't think that it wouldn't sell. I think something like this would actually help the PS Vita and the PS TV, but Sony considers them legacy devices. So
how the hell can you
maybe
consider the Vita a legacy device?
They're I don't fucking know,
right?
But they're basically not supporting it. They've basically moved it to legacy.
When I said it wouldn't sell, I didn't mean it wouldn't sell. It would sell. It would be successful for the Vita, and I think it would actually help to push Vita sales. But if they release it on mobile, it'll sell millions more.
True.
So that is what I think the decision behind that is, because Square Enix could be making a lot of money off the Vita, but I think a lot of the titles that they would have normally released on the Vita, they're just going, let's just do it in mobile because we'll make more money.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I hate to admit it, you're right, and it makes me sick. It really does.
Yes, I love my Vita. I think it's great.
Me too. Next piece of news here is that Square did show a trailer for the supposed new Final Fantasy adventure game. As it turns out, This is actually a 3D remake of the original Final Fantasy adventure that was released for the original Game Boy. And
What?
yes,
I did not know that existed.
Yes. So if you've ever played Secret of Mana, Final Fantasy Adventure was the
I have
first
not.
in that series. It was actually called Final Fantasy Gaiden Seiken Densetsu.
Ryu, you're one of these weirdos that's played this random obscure game, aren't you? Because you're
You
always
can't really
talking
call-
about random shit like this. And,
It's
like, did this not get, like, terrible, terrible reviews or something?
what, the original Final Fantasy Adventure?
Uh-huh.
No, the original Final Fantasy Adventure was very well loved, and Secret of Mana is still a goddamn cult classic.
It must be another one. Legends, I'm thinking of.
Final Fantasy Legend is actually the Saga series, which, again, has a cult following. The games are bizarre as hell, but I love them.
yeah, and we actually discussed those last episode in depth.
Oh,
Yes.
Jesus.
Also, new Saga game coming out. Also, there's Legend of Legacy by Atlas, which is a Saga in all but name.
See what I mean? Ryu's like the guru for all this obscure shit.
The new Final.
I played so much of this shit as a wee baby. Like, I had this for the original Game Boy.
I wish I would have gotten it. I had an opportunity. I shit you not. I had an opportunity before the Game Boy Color went legacy. The local Meyer actually had Final Fantasy Adventure and both of the Final Fantasy Legend Game Boy games, and they were on discount for like $8.99 a piece. And I thought so many times about picking them up, but I never did. Now I'm kicking myself in the ass for having not done so.
Minor correction, you said both. There are 3.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I should have. Yes, you are correct. I'm sorry. Yes, the point is they had all of them, and I
They
should
had
have
2
got
of them.
them.
Yeah. Yes.
So this 3D remake of Final Fantasy Adventure is going to be released on Vita and mobile phones this winter in Japan. No news on if that will see a North American release.
And I really don't care either way.
I would like to see it released in the West, because I don't like it when things don't get released in the West. But I probably will never play it.
I mean, I would definitely play it if it gets released in the West, just because I missed my opportunity to play it in its original format. So even if it does suck,
I'm curious to see what the changes are. One between it and now, and between its remake and it, because there's been several remakes.
I mean, I don't know if you've seen the trailer yet or not, but just from the art direction, it looks very much like it's in line with the like the Final Fantasy III and Final Fantasy IV DS updates, 3D updates.
It definitely looks very similar. Yes.
Yeah.
Which isn't terribly surprising, because the series has always had that sort of slightly SD look to begin with. And some of its most loved entries have been very sort of pastel and super deformed, like Legend of Mana.
So this seems like it's right in line with that then.
Yeah.
Time will tell.
I mean, it all depends on how the battle works, because being an action adventure game, it's all about how it actually feels when you whack folks. Whether or not that's responsive and fun to do, but it looked pretty good from the preview.
Moving on from that, they also showed a trailer for Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. Just from what I was gathering from the trailer, this, as much as I hate the fact that they keep releasing these mobile games, I can't help but be excited by the fact that this looks just very reminiscent to the gameplay of the classic Final Fantasy games. Because the trailer's in Japanese, I can't really glean a whole lot from the trailer other than what just watching the action taking place and seeing the artwork direction. I did get the character names from it. Apparently, the main characters are going to be named Rain, Laswell, and Finna. I'm not real sure how that's going to be pronounced. But
Probably Fina.
This is very exciting for me because this looks like a true legit, a classic Final Fantasy game here.
With a butt ton of cameos.
Hopefully we get to see
I could definitely pick out a bunch of like Warrior of Light, Tidus, several other characters are showing up as well.
I agree.
Meg
Lex.
Ryan.
If we're going to argue about how his name is pronounced, it's Meg Ryan.
I didn't argue. I simply coughed.
Yes, that's exactly what you did. You know, we can be here like an hour because he hates when people call him Tidus, even though that's actually the way he's supposed
All
to
right,
be pronounced.
then to forestall this, his name is Meg Ryan, and that girl from Final Fantasy VII who died is Nancy.
Okay. This game that you speak about, that you're excited about, I'm glad for you, is on mobile. I won't play it. I don't care about it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, Lex. I mean, I would have much rather see this come out on Vita.
Or 3DS.
Or 3DS, yes. But it just... the fact that it just harkens back to the classic Final Fantasy series is what excites me for it.
Yeah, totally understand. Dimensions was similar, was it not? There was a kind of classic-ish game they brought out. It was Dimensions, wasn't it?
Yes.
And that got pretty good reviews. So
yeah, and I actually have that on my iPhone. I just have not gotten a chance to play it yet. It's on our list for the Retrospective series, so I'm looking forward to getting to it. But yes, you are correct. It is very much in that classic Final Fantasy style.
That's awesome. I hope it does well.
Me too. Hopefully it goes to prove to Square that you don't have to make everything action-adventure RPGs. You can go to that classic JRPG formula.
But I mean, they're not really shy about going to that classic JRPG formula as long as it's on mobile, which is the problem.
Oh, this is true.
I want that classic style on a frickin' console.
Agreed. Totally agreed. Which is why I mean, we could have a whole show talking about this, but that's why I would hope against hope that the Final Fantasy VII Remake would have just stuck with the original battle. Yeah, we could get into that all day. Yeah, moving on. They also showed a trailer for Final Fantasy Grandmasters. Another mobile game, unfortunately. It will be free to play with microtransactions. It is an online RPG for iOS and Android set in the Final Fantasy XI world of Vanadiel, or Vanadiel, however that's pronounced.
Vanadiel, I think.
Once again, you lost me on mobile.
Right. I really don't care about this, but I wasn't into the MMO thing anyway, so it will allow players to adventure with other players. They'll be able to interact with each other via a built-in chat feature and apparently some type of emotion feature. They will be able to battle in real-time co-op battles, and the playable classes will be Elvon, Galka, Hume, Mithra, and Taru. Pre-registration is apparently already available for Japanese gamers via the official website, and it's due for release later this year in Japan, and I'm assuming it will probably see the West as well, because I believe this is the game that Square was promising Final Fantasy XI players how Final Fantasy XI was going to live on, so...
Disregarding the fact that it's a mobile game, it's already dead. And it's dead because it's an MMO with microtransactions, so the person who pays the most will have the best time.
Agreed.
It's broken. It's broken before it even begins.
Totally agreed. I mean, that seems to be my problem with, as much as I like Record Keeper, I loathe Record Keeper because of the microtransactions. The fact that it is random what weapons and armor you get, it just drives me insane. And it seems like the only people that are posting online about doing well in the game have probably spent a boatload of money getting the random weapons and armor and actually pulling the good stuff.
Out the wheel.
Last little bit of news before we get into the major news here. Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key trailer that they showed. Actually, I'm sorry, 2 bits of news. They did show a new trailer for Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key. Again, it was in the trailer that I saw, at least, was in Japanese. I didn't see an English translated one, even though I think one does exist. Wasn't able to glean much from it, other than the fact that it's another Kingdom Hearts mobile game. So, Carlie, did you happen to watch any of that trailer at all?
No.
You are a resident Kingdom Hearts expert here.
I've been busy with school. I don't have a very good excuse. I've just been busy with school.
Understood. Then we also had the World of Final Fantasy trailer. Can I express my disgust for this? I keep hearing people talk about, oh, it's so adorable, it's in the chibi style, oh, it's so adorable. No, it's fucking not adorable.
Lol.
It's not. It at least is coming out for PlayStation 4 and Vita, so I guess we can be happy about that.
It's like, there's your Vita game, Vadar.
It appears that it is going to feature Lightning and the Warrior of Light, possibly some other cameos. I don't know what to say.
Well, we don't really know a whole lot about this game, to be honest.
Yeah, the only thing that we do know about it is that battle involves switching between SD and regular-ish size and using weird stacking mechanics to get powers.
Mm-hmm.
Could either be a very clever game that just has a really weird art style, or it could be shit.
I'm reserving judgment. I'm probably going to pick it up because it's for the PS4 and the Vita. So I guess I'll maybe do a review when it comes out and just play it by ear and see what the gameplay features are like, because I'm kind of hoping it'll be more classic style turn-based combat.
That's what I would like to hope for too. And I mean, I probably will pick it up as well because it's for PlayStation 4 and Vita, but
yeah.
I need to pick up a PS4 at some point.
I'm not remotely excited about it though.
Is it sad, Ryu, that the last few times I've picked up systems was strictly because the Final Fantasy games were going to be released for those systems?
I don't think so, because that's why I used to buy consoles. Yeah. So
you go to a console because your favorite games are on it, not because you OMG have to have it. The only reason I picked up like a PS TV was because of stuff like Muramasa Rebirth and For Golden and the weird games that are coming out.
The obscure games guru strikes again.
Oh. The weird games on Vita are like and one that crossed my eye recently is called Omega Labyrinth, where it's a roguelike, whereas you gain experience, you get bigger boobs. And then you spend the bigger boobs to level up. I'm not joking.
Holy shit.
No.
Wow. So yeah, moving into the bigger pieces of news that came out of Tokyo Game Show. We'll start off with the Final Fantasy XIV patch announcement. They did announce patch 3.1. It is going to be titled As Goes Light, So Goes Darkness, and will be released in November instead of October. They said there will be a new 24-man raid that will be called Void Ark, and it will
exciting.
It will contain many bosses from previous Final Fantasy games, and I thought that sounded really cool. So, yeah, it is exciting. Even though I'm not playing it. Airship exploration is going to be expanded. It will provide the ability to explore islands and fight stronger enemies. Apparently, this will be located in the Sea of Clouds. And these hunts will offer the chance to get items from bronze, silver, and gold chests. And I am not familiar with the type of gear here. Lex, you're a Final Fantasy XIV expert. Do you understand what they mean by this type of gear?
I 210, so that just means the item level of the gear is 200, like level 210.
Gotcha. Okay. And I assume that's pretty damn good gear then.
Yeah, that would be the highest gear they're offering at that point.
Right on. Traveling as part of a free company will get you a chance at some exclusive bonuses. And my understanding is that you will be able to take a part of whatever they're offering as part of traveling as a free company. You'll be able to do that as a solo as well, but you won't have access to the bonuses. They were really cryptic about that. So, the Gold Saucer will be adding something called the Lord of Verminion. It's going to pit minions against each other, defeating your...
People will love that.
I'm sorry?
People will absolutely love that.
Oh, I'm sure. Defeating your opponent's Arcana Stone wins the battle. It will offer 5 different modes, including tutorial, challenge, battle, and tournament mode. Matching will be based upon your performance in the battles. So that almost seems like a chance to play Pokemon outside of Pokemon.
Pretty much.
Well, I mean, the name is like a single, phonic sound away from Vermilion, so Vermilion City.
It definitely
Lieutenant
is.
Surge.
Apparently they're going to introduce a few new housing items, and there will also be a new relic weapon quest.
Oh god.
Lex sounds so excited.
Yeah, I was going to say, explain your excitement for that, Lex.
I haven't played 14 in a while. I will get back into it soon. I'll probably gear myself up for this patch because it sounds really exciting, to be honest, especially the new 24-man raid. So I'll probably get back into it shortly. However, the relic weapon quests are ridiculous. Like, the things you have to do, it's like your character's ultimate weapon. It's so grindy. I just can't even, like, if I had a superpower, it would be I can't even, because it's just, it takes so long, and the new relic weapon quest is not something I'm excited about. I spent upwards of, I don't even know, like the last stage to upgrade it by like 5 levels took me about 4 weeks of constant grinding.
Ouch.
And all of the stages have been like that, and I just, no. Don't want to do it again. But I will.
So will you be taking part of this Lord of Verminion thing at the Gold Saucer then as well?
I'm not really interested in battling the minions, to be honest. I'll probably try it out and then never play it again.
The 24-man raid thing was what really caught my eye. I mean, I'm not playing the game actively at the moment, but it does sound really cool, especially given the fact that you'll be able to face off against some of the bosses from classic Final Fantasy. So
well,
that's pretty cool.
That already exists.
Oh, right on.
In 14, there's 3 24-man raids, and they're all based on Final Fantasy III. They're called Crystal Tower. So, and they're all great. All of them are great. So you've got Labyrinth of the Ancients, and then you've got Circus Tower, and the last one is World of Darkness.
Very
where
cool.
The final boss is, you might guess, Cloud of Darkness, and it's all 3 of those are awesome. They look great. They're a lot of fun to play, and they start out really, really difficult until everyone gears up, and then they don't become easy, but they become easier.
So do they incorporate a lot of like the Final Fantasy III soundtrack and stuff when you're going through that? Then
yeah,
awesome.
Absolutely. It's
Very
really
cool.
It's really cool. But this new one, I wonder what's Void Ark. What game is that?
Yeah, that's a good question. Ryu, have you any thoughts on that?
It might be 4.
I did not hear the bit right before before you asked me. There was a slight cutout.
Void Ark. What Final Fantasy game would that be from?
Void Ark. It is not from 4. It doesn't actually ring any immediate bells from a name.
Yeah, me neither.
It couldn't be 9.
That would make some sense. What with the...
If it was 9, I would lose my shit. Like...
Yeah.
Does that mean you will be playing along with us when we get to Final Fantasy IX and then the retrospective series, Lex?
Oh, I love 9. Well, let me know when you get to 5 and I'll join in there.
Will do.
He really loves 5. He really wants people to
Need to
love
get back
5.
to playing
Everyone.
5.
I love 5. 5's a lot of fun.
It needs more love.
Yeah, I don't know if you were aware, Lex, but I've been doing a gimmick run. I'm doing a 1-person, 1-class mega challenge.
Holy shit, I did not know that.
Yeah, I'm running. Cheating is heavily involved, not in the actual battles, but in setup. But I'm running as Kryle the Mime, and my gimmick is that I can only fight as the last boss. I have to fight each subsequent boss as the last boss I fought.
Okay.
I'm currently stopped in the middle of World 2 as Gilgamesh.
Oh my god, that is excellent.
Right after the second Gilgamesh fight.
Are you recording it?
Oh yeah. I'm doing an LP of it. I need to get back to recording it.
I want to watch that.
Oh, I've got several chapters up already. Some of them are on the forum. I need to throw my 4th chapter up.
Yes, please do. I'll watch them all,
Yeah.
I promise.
It's a bunch of it's mostly text with a bunch of the actual combats and videos.
That's really interesting. There's so much you can do with 5. It's unbelievable.
Agreed.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, without getting too heavily into Final Fantasy V, because obviously we'll have our podcast for that, but just wanted to say that Final Fantasy V does not get enough acclaim or praise.
Yes.
I mean, I hear people complain about the story and stuff, but for me, the story is really not the interesting part of the game. The interesting part of the game is the outstanding job system.
Yes.
It's so good.
It's got, like, I recall a review of it that one person said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't hear any of your complaints about the story over all of this job system."
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because, the story is stupid, but the story don't care.
It's
Well,
not
not
even
stupid.
that bad
The
a
story is
story,
just-
it's just
yeah.
not particularly deep.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, and that's what it's a Sentai show with a job system,
Yep.
and it works.
Everyone should play it, bottom line. Everyone should
Agreed.
play that game.
We will definitely be letting you know, Lex, when we get to Final Fantasy V.
Please do.
Will do.
Out of curiosity, Lex, do you participate in the 4-Job Fiesta?
No.
The 4-Job Fiesta is a usually twice yearly festival where you get randomly assigned 4 jobs, one from each crystal, and you have to play through the game using only those 4 jobs.
I didn't know this kind of, 5 fandom existed. I thought I was the only person in the universe that liked Final Fantasy V.
Welcome to a whole new world. Got a magic carpet, you can dress in the princess outfit, we will sing to you. Whole new world.
My god.
A whole new world.
He gets it.
Okay, so to pull this back on the rails again,
I take offense to that. We're definitely on the rails. We would never get off the rails.
Well, listen, we just subtracted 10 from the next topic, now we're adding it back.
Right, so it's value-added content. Moving on, they did provide a bunch of information about Final Fantasy 15, and I want to open up this by saying that we have been really negative Nancy's about Final Fantasy 15 here lately on this show, and I want to say that I very much enjoyed the Final Fantasy 15 Dawn 2.0 trailer. I thought this trailer was much better done than the original version of the Dawn trailer.
Absolutely. However, the fact that they've had to re-release a trailer that has been recut and name it the 2.0 version of this one trailer, that gimmick is getting old to me.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you at all about that, Lex. I mean, and to me, it almost sounds like Square's backtracking and going, yeah, we did fuck up, didn't we? So here, let's give you something else that will pacify you instead.
Mm-hmm. However, they're taking feedback, and they're taking the feedback on board and actually doing something about it, so it's shitty to complain. It's just, with, all this 2.0 Dusky and 2.0 Dawn and...
I'm actually happy that they did the 2.0 Duske thing.
Yeah, me too.
Because to me that's truly revolutionary for a video game company to take that step to
Absolutely.
take the feedback from the players and say, here's what we can do to fix this for you guys. How do you like it now?
I just had this weird thought that they're probably not going to capitalize on, but they keep using 2.0 and stuff, and I understand it's probably just like the dev talk.
Right.
I had this weird thought that 2.0 could be plot relevant, and that we're literally dealing with a rebooted reality. And we learn that.
Ooh,
in-game.
I like that idea.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, very cool. They in the actual active time report, Tabata gave a boatload of information here, kind of expounding upon what we did see in the Dawn and Dawn 2.0 trailers. He stated that the Niflheim Empire has nearly conquered the world, and only the Kingdom of Lucis has managed to stand against them due to the power of their crystal. King Regis is the current Crystal Guardian, and because of this, he's able to summon weapons from thin air, much like we've seen Noctis do in the episode Duske demo. Regis used to fight alongside Cid, General Kor, and another character who uses a huge sword a la Gladiolus. He also has aged quickly due to all of the energy that he spent on the shield that protects the Kingdom of Lucis. I thought that was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
He did also go into speaking about a bit about Luna here. Luna is the youngest oracle in history, and she's classified as an oracle because she's able to speak with the gods. She currently lives in the Niflheim-ruled Tenebrae, and she isn't bothered apparently by being surrounded by soldiers and seems to have some bit of freedom within the Niflheim Empire because she is an oracle.
Also, it's hilarious that they've gone so far as to name not even necessarily the bad guys, but the antagonists, the Land of the Dead Empire.
Oh yeah.
Because that's what Niflheim is.
I never realized that. That's interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Apparently Lunafreya and Noctis made some sort of promise when they were children, but Tabata wouldn't go into detail about what that promise was.
Gee, who does that remind me of?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting ready to say, in fact.
Honestly, it was just a promise to trade magic cards, and so obviously we're looking at a love story.
The black-haired woman seen with Lunafreya, her name is Gentiana. Gentiana, yeah, I'm not...
Could be any of those.
Shouldn't be too hard to remember her name since there's like 3 female characters in that game.
I take it you're still not very happy about this, Carlie.
No, not even a little bit.
I'm reserving judgment on that, to be fair. Because I do like what we've been shown of Luna so far.
Yeah, I think mine and probably Carly's annoyance with it is coming from the fact that Square keeps pushing on us that Luna is a very strong character, a very independent character, and stuff.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. That's old.
I think they're trying to sort of split the difference from pandering to the Fujoshi, which is why they got so many, built in as the main party, but trying not to get caught out by just having a sausage festival. They're just not handling.
Yeah, they're like, look at this female character. This female character is very strong, and then they're talking about Cindy, and they're like, we want to emphasize that Cindy is a strong, independent woman. And it's just like,
who don't need no man.
Yeah, it's like,
all she needs is her car, her machine.
Don't tell me that stuff.
Show me.
Square,
don't
show it to me.
Show,
yes.
Don't tell.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, we kind of got a little bit of a glimpse of that, I thought, from Luna in that 2.0 trailer when she kind of shrugs off the soldiers and stuff.
Yes, and that's one of the reasons I was impressed by that. When I watched it, I was like, okay, this is a trailer, I'm enjoying this.
Absolutely.
Who is this character? I want to know more about her. And then they spent the whole day on Facebook and Twitter going, "This is a strong, independent woman," and we're like, "Yeah, we got that from the trailer. Thanks. Please stop."
You know, there was one of the things that they released. There was this painting of Freya and the other chick that looked really cool.
Yeah, the poster.
Yeah, that painting is awesome. I need to have that painting in hanging up in my office.
Mm-hmm.
See, if they can do more things like that instead of going on and on and on and on, just answering the bunch of backlash that they got. If they can show more of her character and show this it's actually like a really interesting character, then that would work a lot better.
Agreed. Actions speak louder than words.
Exactly.
The problem is they're trying to placate people so that, you know, without... The problem is they don't want to show off too much just yet, possibly because it's not there, but they're already getting it on, and I think they're just kind of in panic mode.
Mm-hmm.
And I do agree that they need to show it. I just don't know if they can. And this isn't a... I don't know if they can actually bring it. I just don't know if they actually have it to show yet. Because we are still in middle of development.
And the game's coming out next year.
Square. Yeah. They did also kind of go into a little bit of, or Tabata went into a little bit of detail about some of the side stuff you'll be able to do. He said that players will have the ability to rent chocobos for 30 days. If you dismount a chocobo, it will follow you for a short time, and afterward, you'll have to whistle to get it to come back to you. There will be no chocobo breeding or raising. Chocobos that are regularly used will get some type of stat increases. There will be a chocobo racing mini game, and apparently there will be a special type of chocobo out in the wild called the black chocobo.
I bet it can fly. I just want to get that in there.
It probably can. But Tabata, I guess,
The black
later
chocobo
announced that you're not going to be able to actually ride
chocobo? It. No.
I'm sorry, Rio, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just being sarcastic of the black chocobo having that singular feature that identifies the black chocobo.
Only in 5?
4.
Oh, is it 4?
4 and 5.
I don't play that shit. Like, 4's nothing to me.
You wouldn't have 5 if not for 4. It's a much simpler
I'm
game.
winding you up because I know how much you love 4, Rio.
I love 4 too, so...
This chocobo stuff is cool. I don't care that there's no breeding or raising. Surprisingly, because normally I'd be like, we're going home for that stuff, but I don't particularly care. It's side stuff. It feels like it doesn't belong in this game, to be fair.
Yeah, to be fair, the world is going to be massive. I think there's just going to be way too much to do to really have time to devote to breeding or raising a chocobo.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Think of this game as more Final Fantasy Skyrim.
Agreed.
Or Final Fantasy GTA than Final Fantasy VII. So there's going to be a lot of random stuff. That's the plan. There's going to be a story, but there's going to be the, you know what, I feel like going off and fishing right next to that behemoth. And then I'm going to slap it with a carp.
And speaking of that, Tabata did mention that there will be designated areas for fishing. Apparently all shapes and sizes of fish will be able to be caught. Once caught, they can be taken back to camp for cooking. There will be several fishing rods available, and apparently Square is thinking about putting special rods into the game that can only be gotten from certain NPC characters.
Breath of Fire? What? Huh?
Yes.
And there will be several lures available to try emulating there.
You are correct.
Now,
Breath of Fire?
Let's talk about this for just 1 second, because who gives a fuck about fishing? Like, genuinely, who cares? Now, I'm having Pokemon flashbacks to fucking try and get the good rod for that 0.3% chance of not catching a Magikarp. And the idea just I would ignore this in the game if I didn't know automatically that there's going to be one fucking trophy attached to catching the rarest fish with the rarest lure with the best rod you can get in the game, and it takes like fucking 40 hours to farm the best lure for the best fish for the best. I just can't. And then you also need to cook a meal with that fucking fish. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly
what they should do with it, and the series that I mentioned, Breath of Fire, has done the best with its its fishing mini games ever. Literally, fishing is a mini game that you play to get an alternate form of currency in the form of fish that you can trade in for some of the best shit in the game.
That wouldn't be so bad. I mean, if it enables you to sell for gil, depending on how much or what type of fish it is or whatever, that wouldn't be such a bad thing.
Oh yeah.
If they work it in that you need to go to some kind of, black farmer's market to trade in this rare exotic fish, then I might be on board with it. But if it's an overly convoluted system for fishing, I'm not going to be happy, and I'm just putting that out there.
Well, in the Breath of Fire games, it was on several maps there was a specific fish who would only respond to the gold lure, and he was the only one that would. And if you pulled him in, he'd go, "So, buy something? Give me fish, I'll give you shit." But he was very easy to catch, and it was basically an open secret.
The only Breath of Fire game I've ever played is 3, and I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah,
I played 4.
They actually
4 is the one with like Cray and shit, and the robot and shit. Yeah, I liked that one.
Both of those had a really good fishing minigame that you never had to do,
right?
But had really good rewards. Because even if you don't, do the trading shenanigans, fish are really fucking useful things. One of the fish that you can catch very early in the game, and you can farm it, can be used to cast magic.
Wow.
Which just gives me a very amusing idea of the main character just throwing a fish at somebody and it exploding.
Moving on from the fishing here for Final Fantasy 15, which I'm getting the impression that nobody really cares about.
We just don't know it. It's definitely interesting, but it's not coalesced enough to really catch my attention.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we know so little about the rest of the story and about the rest of the game that it seems like these conversations about side quests and stuff just seem like unnecessary conversations at this point.
Yeah.
Gilgamesh is apparently not going to be included in the game, but could appear as DLC. And, if there ends up being supplementary DLC content, it will always be free, and I thought that was really awesome of Tabata to say that.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, with all these damn games that are coming out where you're having to buy a season pass for and shit like that, it's really cool that Square would have their DLC content be free. That's outstanding.
Oh yeah.
Noctis can't perform double jumps, but he will apparently have aerial combos added into his moveset.
Good. Double jumps are dumb.
Exactly.
I mean, you're going to be breaking physics some way. It's just you have to work a little harder.
Double jumps are fun, but they're dumb.
Yeah.
I think the only place I've ever seen the double jump work extremely well is in the Lego Star Wars games.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Psychonauts also did fairly well with its platforming, and it just gave you a double jump to start with. And it was literally, oh, you're psychic. Whee! Double jump. And then you got an ability to upgrade your double jump. Whee! And then the almost all need to platform was gone from the game at that point. By design, it was...
Tabata also mentioned that most of the magic should be familiar to Final Fantasy gamers, but they will be adding a new spell.
Cool.
Yes. He stated that unlike most games that have use of guns will require reloading. He stated that defeating a summon will sometimes allow you to borrow its powers.
Also cool.
Yes. All party members except for Noctis will be able to equip a sub-weapon, such as a shield.
It's probably because Noctis is multi-weapon to begin with, and it's part of his thing, and they are probably going to be set to be able to switch between primary and their sub.
That was the impression I got as well.
It seems to me very much like a Dragon Age approach, where the main character's kind of the all-powerful one, but you do have the option to switch to your like less powerful party members.
Right.
So they all have this feature, but Noctis is a bit like a demigod anyway, because he can summon all this shit to his side, so it's not quite the same.
Agreed. Apparently he also stated that there will not be any loading screens while out in the field, but the loading screens may appear between story moments instead.
GTA, okay.
Yeah, and I thought that was kind of cool too. I mean, especially if it's non-invasive, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, basically the way that I'm looking at Final Fantasy 15 is going to be a more actiony, like Elder Scrolls game from the or more RPG GTA sort of game from the way that it's designed. So I'm just going to constantly be comparing to them. And so having one of the basic mainstays of that series of having the open world be open until you go into the story or into a specific area, yeah, that's something that they definitely need to have. And
Tabata also stated that more details on characters and monsters will be revealed periodically between now and March. And Moogles will not play a major role in the game, but if there is enough demand, they may be featured more prominently. Is this really that big of a deal? I mean, is there really that big of an outcry?
I know I mean, if they're in the game, that's great. Don't shoehorn them in because fans want it.
Right, I agree. I mean, I'd be happy if the role of a Moogle was just some plush doll hanging in somebody's rearview mirror. I mean, that could be.
That was the role in 7. Hey, play a minigame. Here's your Moogles. I mean, hell, even in some of the games where they've been more prominent, like 5, they weren't shoved down your face.
Right. And I thought 12's Moogles were well done also.
Yeah, the 12/Tactics Advance Moogles, though more of that in Tactics Advance was weird.
I like Tactics.
It was supposed to be weird, but it has to be said that it was weird.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was, but I love Tactics Advance. That's one of my favorite games.
Yeah, I like Tactics Advance 2 much better. For that, I think it does sort of the similar plot with less ambiguity and a little less ham-handedness, and its side plots are just much better.
I haven't gotten to play the second one all the way through, but yes.
Oh, yeah, you should.
It's on the list. And it's on the list.
When we do the retrospective for it, make sure that you do the side quests and help the fucking zombie when you meet her.
Definitely will. There were some other Final Fantasy 15 news that came out of TGS that wasn't featured in the Active Time report. Tabata stated that there is more of a chance of getting old Final Fantasy music on Final Fantasy 15's car radio than players being able to actually use their own MP3s. Apparently this is due to legal reasons. Don't know why Square has that issue when there's other companies out there making games where players can use their own MP3s. Not sure why that's an issue for them, so...
It might be due to... Are those other ones on the PS4 as well?
Yeah, I mean, the WWE games allow you to import your own MP3s. I believe the MLB The Show series allows you to import your own MP3s. So
both of those are Western games. It might be something to do with the recording industry rights in Japan. Because for as fucked up as the RIAA is, Japan's recording and television industry is a whole weird kettle of fish. Do you know what one of the things that Japan works very, very strongly to prevent the import of? American releases of Japanese products.
Really?
Yes.
Is that a money thing?
It's very much a money thing.
Yeah, because shit's a lot more expensive in Japan.
Yeah, the prices are so goddamn hiked. We're talking the equivalent of $80.
Wow.
They're one of the richest countries in the world, though. That's why.
Yeah.
Wow. Tabata also stated that chocobos will behave differently depending on what greens they're fed. Some greens will influence the chocobos to avoid enemy attacks, while others will basically cause the chocobo to turn on you and take you right into a battle. The type of food will also have an effect on the chocobo's stamina. In other words, it'll have an effect on how quickly it can get away from an enemy. You will not be able to attack while riding on a chocobo, and he also stated that you will likely not be able to ride a black chocobo since they are wild and it's not something you can rent.
What?
Yeah. Stupid.
All right. Time to
So you think you
start
could ride
stalking.
this chocobo? Sorry.
The nights in the game will get noticeably longer as the game goes on, and Tabata says this is because of something called the Plague of the Star that Luna is doing her best to hold at bay thanks to her powers as an oracle.
I enjoy this tidbit.
Me too. And
I
I
think
really
that
like,
sounds really interesting.
and what I really like is this next bit is that this Gentiana is more than just an assistant to Luna, so that adds a little intrigue as well.
Lesbianism?
Well,
Stroke
we suddenly got
beard.
Carlie's interest again.
Now you have my
Welcome to
attention.
TLS Podcast After Dark once again.
You say stroke beard, but that usually means you're like, no, get away.
Well, you know.
Lex is not a fan.
Well, LGBT representation in a Final Fantasy game would be awesome, though. I wouldn't mind a little bit of lesbianism.
Well, it would be better if they actually, say people are lesbian.
It'd be better
so,
if it was two men,
vanilla.
let's just be real. But, like...
We'll disagree on that.
But
We can have both.
we had Fang and Vanille. Now we might have Luna and Gentiana.
Yes.
Gentuna?
I much rather have that than her and Noctis.
The shipping name is Gentuna. I love it.
I'll start shipping it right now. It sounds a lot better than her and Noctis.
Noctuna.
Listen, we're going to reveal that Stella... They're eventually going to reveal that Stella still does exist, and we're going to have that love story eventually.
Oh, I miss Stella.
Stella!
She's so young.
I'm now imagining Carlie with a boombox over her head in the rain.
Right. And we've fulfilled our requisite Stella reference for the show as well.
Now we have to work in ones about the 2 TV shows of that name.
The black dog featured in the trailers is apparently a type of messenger between Luna and Noctis. And they stated that the main Final Fantasy theme may make an appearance in the game. Noctis
That shouldn't...
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say that shouldn't be it fucking should be in the game.
I totally
It's a
agree.
Final Fantasy game.
I think what they mean is in universe.
Alright. Well...
Because obviously it's going to be there, because it always plays when you start.
Was it in Final
But I
Fantasy
think-
13? Because I don't recall it being in Final Fantasy 13.
It's not in Final Fantasy 13 at all.
Dirty sons of bitches.
Not
I
even
don't
in
think
the
it's
ending
in-
credits.
I think they added it into the sequels. But yeah, no, it's not in 13
Bizarre.
for some reason.
They stated Noctis's friends all will have their own personalities and ways of keeping themselves entertained. I'm not sure why this is actually a talking point, but okay. There will be no investigation of the fallen meteor that was mentioned in Lestalem. The relationship between Noctis and Luna is apparently purely political.
I knew it, she's a lesbian. It's lesbianism confirmed.
Well, at least the relationship between her and Gentiana isn't purely political.
Not that they've mentioned yet.
See, and Lex is an expert on what lesbians are.
It's true.
Just make sure they're not political lesbians. 'Cause
Those are the best
actually
kind.
hateful people. No. Well, maybe for you, but they're not actually taking men out of the dating pool for you. They're just taking themselves out of the dating pool for men, which I unfortunately doesn't help you on that one. What you need to find is political gay men, which might help you.
This became a very interesting conversation.
Lex is being quiet. Very quiet.
I am.
Because you're talking about lesbians and that's not something he's interested in.
It's okay. There's all sorts of shirtless men in 15. You know, it's
There
they're
is.
pander-
Are you talking about
not
gladiolus?
really.
See, now you have his
Yeah.
interest.
Where? Show them to me.
You have to find the secret hot springs scene, and then you can find the bromides.
Okay.
If they have beers, it will help a lot more.
Beards and swords for days.
So what I'm saying, well, what if they've got axes? Because I think there might be your favorite character ever in the original Luna. Though he's not naked, sadly. But he is built.
Who?
Mel, the Berserker,
Mel,
and the Mayor.
the Berserker. I'm getting pictures of Mel Gibson with a sword.
No, Mel de Alkirk.
Okay, you can send me a link later, and I'll fap.
All right, it's going into the chat. Here we go.
Here we go.
This is the furthest we've gone to without being naughty.
Lunar. Oh, he's a furry. I'm not a furry fan.
He's actually not a furry. There's a proper furries. No, he's just got like
Ears like
ears.
a cat. That freaks me out too much. Give him human ears and we'll talk.
Last note that Tabata mentioned, there will also be a few Eidolons in the game, or there will only be a few Eidolons in the game, I should say, and apparently they will have no direct correlation with the human affairs going on in the game.
Okay,
But they are
I
the
don't mind.
inscrutable,
Me neither.
quasi-Lovecraftian beings that you might assume.
If they give them all the same amount of attention they've given to Ramu, then I'm
Yeah.
all for it.
Agreed. Totally agreed. And the fact that there's going to be, less Eidolons than perhaps some of the other Final Fantasy games, I'm not offended by that either.
If we
As
look
long
at
as-
Final Fantasy X, with its like main series summons, then I'd be okay with that amount. And they're like, I'm not including the 3 optional ones. So, and there's not that many in that game. What have you got? You've got
Yeah.
Shiva, Ifrit, Ixion, Valofor, Bahamut. Is that it?
I think so.
So
Yes,
yeah, that's
of
5
the
from the main story, and that's cool. I'd be okay with that amount.
Especially if they devoted time to develop them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Especially if they're, an alternate play mode. Because they keep toying with that, but they never quite get it fully realized.
Right. So, I mean, that wraps up all the information that came out of Tokyo Game Show. Any last remarks on that?
The 2.0 trailer made me really excited for 15 again.
Me too. I was very happy with that trailer. That is the trailer they should have released instead of the original Dawn trailer, for certain.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but they don't know how to do things right the first time.
And I feel like we weren't nearly as negative about Final Fantasy 15 this episode, so...
Because this time around, they actually showed things and actually gave us new information.
Absolutely. So we did get a couple of emails here, but we are running long, so I think I will hold them off for the next episode. I do want to go ahead and pose this question out here for the listenership, though. What Final Fantasy game soundtrack is your favorite and why? The reason why I am posing this question is because if we get no big news that needs to be discussed for the next episode, our next episode will be about Final Fantasy music. So,
also, before we go
hear
out, I do
Jason.
want to preemptively respond to Sarah. I can do British and sexy. Lex is doing it automatically.
Don't call me British.
I know you don't like it, but at least they didn't call you English.
Yes, that's true.
Because that
But
would be a lie and an insult.
I can't hear an American say British without thinking that they think that means English.
No.
Now, let's be fair here. I know what British means. I know it's not
Yeah,
English.
besides, I've got way too much Scots in my blood and Irish to make that mistake.
Fair.
My ancestors didn't kill my other ancestors for hundreds of years for me not to get that right.
I don't know what happened to my ancestors. What happened between the Scottish and the Greek? Did they kill each other at any point? Or I guess like Vikings? What did they do?
The Vikings essentially... Well, it depends on the era of Vikings. They might have come in, they might have horribly fucked everything up and then fucked everything, or they might have come and said, hey, you want to buy this thing? We got this thing. Okay.
Regardless, you're welcome.
See, I can tell you what mine did. 1/3 of my ancestors enslaved the other 2/3 of my ancestors.
That tends to happen, actually.
Yeah.
And I think most... Now, I can't say that about mine, but there are some people whose ancestors have... 100% of their ancestors have enslaved 100% of their ancestors.
You wanted derailment, here we are.
Yeah, let's close this up and we can carry this on afterwards.
This got dark.
Human history. We're shit to each other.
So yeah, I mean, I have not been getting any responses to the questions for the listenership that I've been throwing out here. I really hope I get some responses to this one because I want to be able to talk about this when we do the music podcast next. So, that said, again, we do want to hear from you. Send your questions and feedback to us at lifestreampod@gmail.com. You can also reply to the episode posts each week on the TLS.net forums. Please leave us feedback on iTunes, and we will do our best to read your questions, comments, and feedback on the air. We'd like to thank you again for listening to the Lifestream Podcast. Take care, and always protect the crystals.
Music featured on this podcast is courtesy of Incompetech.com.